So I just got an email that Bard can do image generation now. So we're going to test it out with some prompts that I have, and we're just going to kind of see how it works. So I'm just going to fly over to Bard, and I'm going to give it a couple of prompts, and we're going to see what sort of outputs we can get and how comparable it is to some of the other image generation algorithms that are out there. Okay, here's the first one. We're going to ask it to generate a 16-bit pixel art scene of an American baseball game. Pretty simple, just kind of interested to see what the general output kind of looks like. Okay, so let's look at these. So you have this, definitely not as good as some of the things that I've seen. This is very much like super old, like kind of Game Boy pixels. This is more of a kind of oil painting sort of art, and it's roughly got things visualized there, but you know, it's kind of, the details aren't that good, but overall kind of interesting. Okay, so we'll give it this one. Create an image of a bulldozer clearing land at a construction site. So just a general, you know, hey, make a image of a scene of just construction equipment, and just curious to see if it creates like a realistic image or what. Okay, cool. So we have this. This is a little bit messed up, kind of a little bit warped. This one, okay, the lady's face is melting off. So it's all right. It kind of reminds me of like early Dolly. It's not really more advanced than that from what I can tell. Okay, the next prompt, I'm going to say create a logo for a small business. That's Martha's Cupcakes. So we're going to see if it can make that. Interested to see what it will do, if it can actually create text. Okay, so this isn't half bad. It definitely spelled it out. It's got a cupcake. Cool. Here's just a cupcake, right? With a kind of warped berry. Then this is actually really good, right? So overall, very clean. I like kind of the font that it used. It's got some alternate options. So that's interesting. I think maybe the source of its strength might be in something like this. Oh, and it even made like a t-shirt markup, and then it tried to do established and then like a number, but it kind of made SD, and then it did like something you can't really read. I think that's interesting. Okay, a little bit better. So I'll give it a thumbs up. Okay, so for this next prompt, I'm asking it to make a character named Carl, who's a lawyer, and he's studying for a case in his office. What's interesting, it says it can't generate images of that. Try asking me to generate images of something else. I'm going to say regenerate and just see if it skips that. Sometimes Bard is pretty firm on saying, you know, hey, I can't do something. I am just going to ask it why. And I'm interested to see the response here. It does kind of get weird about working with people. And at this point in time, it's saying, just generally, am I asking why it exists? And that's not what we're talking about. So I'm going to try to football this back in here. Okay. Let's see what we get. It says it can't generate images of that. So what I'm going to do is try to say a character of a fictional character named Carl. And I'm going to see if it responds to that. I think maybe it's thinking that I'm trying to get it to create a picture of someone real, and when I said fictional, then it looks like it went to generate something. So now we'll actually get to see the output. And then instead of generating, it said I can't generate images of that. So it looks like it's having a lot of problems with people. I think it's because of some of the sensitive nature of generating images of actual real people. But let's just go ahead and we'll say that's bad. And we'll just give it some feedback here real quick, and then we'll try another prompt. All right, so I asked it to generate an image of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it still had issues with it. So it seems like it doesn't really want to create anything that's even adjacent to anything that could be like a copyright violation or a person or like a real person at all. I'm going to ask it to create an image of water pouring into a cup to see if it can get any sort of realistic kind of motion sort of scene. Okay, and here's an option right here. So, okay, kind of lots of splashing water on the table. So not super not super realistic, kind of just reminiscent of this sort of early stuff. So I'm going to ask it to do a pair of human hands in high detail, and I'm actually curious to see if it can do hands. And just out of curiosity, it would be neat to see. And it says it can't generate images of that, so I'm going to change the prompt slightly to see if we can make a pair of human hands holding an apple, and we'll see if it gets to this. Okay, so we did get something. The apple, very warped. The hands, okay, there's a fingernail on the side over here. A little bit of an awkward angle, not like a high definition image at all. Over here, the fingers are a little bit weird. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to see if it can make an image of a battleship. I'm just curious to see what it does with something of that nature, because it's kind of different from some of the things we asked to create. Kind of close to the bulldozer, right? Like, interested to see how that turns out. Okay, cool. So this is, yeah, you know, not super realistic. Kind of blurry, kind of surreal. We go over here, kind of the same thing, kind of very melty, and overall just, it's okay. Overall, it is free, but not super impressed with this. I don't think it has a level of versatility that even maybe early DALL-E had. So definitely looking for Google to provide, like, you know, definitely a more robust output to compete with other options that are out there. And with that, it's worth noting that you can get 150 free tokens every 3 hours using Leonardo AI. It's really cool. Definitely hit the link below to go check that out. I think that that definitely gives you a lot more versatility, and it's one of the super underrated options, kind of adjacent to Midjourney. They use a lot of stable diffusion and some other stuff to kind of create these custom models to sort of give you more of an output that's more tempered to a very specific type of visual. And I think it is really cool and definitely worth checking out. Overall, thank you for watching and have a good one.